This is culturally inappropriate.
Bless it. Shout out to my man Rome. Average Man Unplugged. He's doing amazing things. Go to King's channel, show him some love. We're going to tap into this thing right quick. Before I say anything else, I just want to say this. Men, continue to grow. Continue to live your best life. Continue to take the gold pill. You'll see why. Grab your shoulder pads at Human and let's get this work.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Percent of men are no longer, when they are victims of paternity fraud, 90% of men do not stay with the child. They do not stay with the child. Once they find out the child is not theirs, they move on, regardless of how old the child is. And OT, I find that to be quite disturbing. Disturbing because let's say the child is 10 years old. How can you erase 10 years of memory just because that child was not yours? Someone that was calling you father, somebody that you were changing their diapers, somebody that you were feeding. How can you automatically detach those emotional feelings? I feel like that's, I understand the pain, but that's almost kind of heartless. What do you think?
My question would be, why did the person lie? Why did the woman lie? That's number one. Let's back it up, okay? Let's run this shit like a running back. Why do a large number of women find it so easy to walk away from a marriage and erase years of life building with the man? Riddle me that, Batman.
It's so crazy how the real heartless thing is what we're overlooking. That you pinned another human's child on. That is heartless. That is actually very disgusting behavior. But we're gonna overlook that and focus on the man that got spited, right? And his reaction to your actions. And it now becomes about his reaction, not about your actions of being a whore. It's not even about that. It's now about him reacting to the whore's ways.
You see the problem right there. You have automatically judged the woman that she was being a whore.
Exactly, because she was being a whore. Think about it. She got pregnant by somebody else. Didn't tell the man that she got pregnant by somebody else. Then having him raise the child. He then finds out that the child is not his. Fuck you, the horse you rode in on, what you eat, how you live. That man did the right thing by leaving and filing for divorce. Because I guarantee you, if the shoe was on the other foot,
bitch, you need to grow the fuck up with your irresponsible ass.
You don't know the details. You don't know if she was SA'd.
It don't matter. Fuck you and your excuses. Got more excuses than a hooker going to church. But see, that's the thing. A large number of women, mainly black women, do not want to take responsibility for their actions and their behavior, but want to make excuses for it. Like it's okay. No, it's not okay. Because I guarantee you, let a man do some stuff. Are you gonna have that same energy?
You don't know if she was having a drunken night and she didn't know where she ended up on the bodega. You don't know anything that happened.
Okay.
You don't even know if maybe
I love this.
She used IVF and she thought it was yours, but it ended up being a doctor's. That maybe she doesn't know. These things happen, and we don't even give room for the woman to give you an explanation. Instead, all you're just like, oh, she's being a
God, I'm losing brain cells. What's going on right now? Emma?
You tell me. How can you?
Oh, I can tell you and show y'all exactly what's going on right now.
That's right, ladies. Today, you will be taking accountability.
It's over with.
Hell no. Okay, all right. That's why I draw the line. Y'all doing way too much.
Large number of women do not like that word accountability, but guess what? So the fuck what? You gonna learn today. You gonna learn to receive and accept accountability for your actions, for your behavior. Gonna learn. Cause I mean, damn, it's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. You want to sit up here and crucify a man because he found out that the child was not his. But now looking at the fact that, bitch, you lied. Why not be honest to your husband? Be honest to your king. Babe, I slipped up. I let somebody else smash, and the child may not be yours. What happened to honesty? What happened to loyalty? Okay.
Okay.
This woman had a million. Yo, this woman had every excuse in the book. You don't know if she was doing this and she was doing that, and regardless, she put herself in a position of where she was double D clutching.
Facts.
Period.
Facts. Right about that.
That's what it comes down to. Okay. Like let's stop being disingenuous, because if the tables was turned and a man got two women pregnant at the same time, you would not have that same energy.
Oh, like my man Stephon Diggs? Hell no, they're not going to have that same energy. It's okay for them, but not okay for us. Fuck you.
I'm telling you, bro, this is why some of y'all need a Scorpion death drop, bro. And if you're a wrestling fan, you know exactly what I'm saying.
Or a guillotine chokehold.
Do you want to hear a Reddit about a man who is Dad of the Year? Of course you do. Man was married for 10 years. He has a daughter. He and his wife actually have a daughter that's 9 years old. He got into a fight with the wife where the wife told him that the daughter is not his. And he did a paternity.
Stop. Isn't that how it usually happens? In the heat of an argument, truth comes out? Okay.
Test on the daughter, and it proved that the daughter actually is not his, and the man who fathered the daughter come to find out he is deceased. The husband who got into the fight with his wife and found out that his daughter of 9 years is not his, he wants to now divorce the wife and cut both of them completely out of his life.
As he should, and he has that right. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, she would also have that right too.
To quote, I don't want to raise a child that's not mine, nor do I want to pay for her either. Now, look, I understand him being angry that his wife cheated on him, was impregnated by another man, knew it all along, and lied to him. Completely understand that. And I completely understand him wanting to divorce his wife. However, there is a completely innocent 9-year-old child that is caught in this,
that's caught in this by the actions of her mother. But something tell me your old ass gonna blame him.
Absolutely nothing to do with this, that is going to be punished. Why? And on top of that, it's that easy for this man to throw away 9 years that he had with this human that he did think was his. But
listen to what the fuck you just say. But see, let's shift the goalposts. A woman finding it so easy. 9 years of marriage to all of a sudden walk away from the marriage.
finds out she doesn't share the same blood and genetics as him. He's done. He's going to throw her away, cut her off completely. This goes to show that some men, when they become fathers, they're, you know what? Easy come, easy go, you know?
But you know what? It goes to show that some of you ladies need to keep y'all damn legs closed and open your legs to your husband and only your husband. It also goes to show that you need to start being honest and you need to start being open and loyal to the person you took an oath to on that wedding day.
They do what they don't. They don't really care that much. They'll pretend that they do. They do it while it makes them look good and while it lets them fit in and play a role.
That's true. That's true. Because a large number of women feel the same way when it comes to marriage. It looks good. It sounds good. You want the wedding. You really don't love him. And the first chance you get, you want to run and file for divorce. I get it. That's why a large number of men are like, I ain't getting married under man's law. Men have already picked up their shoulder pads and their helmet and moved the fuck on.
Right. But then when it becomes the slightest bit inconvenient or it doesn't look exactly how they thought it would look, they can throw that kid away easily.
The level of gaslighting in that video was astronomical, bro.
Just like you can throw away your marriage.
Like, it's kind of like what the brother said in the original video. We're just going to completely overlook the fact that, oh, you lied to somebody. Well, you don't know what type of plans that man probably had for his life before he found out that he had a child. Maybe he didn't plan on having that child when he had it. Maybe he had other plans with his life. And now that he realizes that this child is not biologically his, now he can go do what he wants to do instead.
That's true. Now he can go back and hop on his purpose. Large number of women don't want to hear that, but I can give two shits on what you don't want to hear. The truth is something that you need to hear. But when you walk away, kill their ass with silence. There's no need to go back and forth. There's no need to do all that rigmarole bullshit. Just pick up your shoulder pads and your helmet and walk on. Because guess what? There's somebody out there better for you. There's somebody out there that's going to love you, men, and treat you right and respect you.
I just find that ironic because when you got men out here that actually want to be fathers and y'all don't want to let them be fathers, then it's like now all of a sudden you want to sit over here and act like it ain't just about you. But then in this situation here, where you're actually basically caught red-handed, now all of a sudden it's about the child. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
30% of the males who get DNA tested annually, according to the American Association of Blood Banks, which is the accrediting body for the DNA lab. This is over 44 DNA labs throughout the United States. They are testing close to 500,000 men per year, and over 30% of them have been confirmed that he didn't do it. 0.0% paternity. But sadly, because this primarily affects men and boys, there's been attempts to try to discredit me. Problem is not the men who got tested. The problem is laws that subscribe to the Me Too movement. They say, believe all women. Carnell Smith says, believe all evidence.
I really want to talk about some of this data coming out from the
But they're also finding out quickly that the same person that they believed was also lying, was also being dishonest. The person that you should have believed, meaning the man, you didn't. And now you have to go back and make things right with that man. I apologize. We didn't believe you at first. We took her word for it. And this is what we're seeing, right? We're calling it out, right?
Association about what they're calling paternity fraud. And the data basically says that 1 in 3 men who were paternity tested between 2020 and 2025 were found to not be the father. And I think this is a concerning statistic, but it's concerning for reasons that you might not expect. But before I get into that, I want to name my biases. Of course, I'm a woman, but I'm not a mother. I don't have children. And I do work primarily with men. I am a life coach, I'm a mindfulness coach, and I'm a mindset coach. And I work with men on things like mindset issues, on stress, building resilience, emotional processing and regulation, relationships, success, all of those good things, right? So my investment in this is really about the mental health and the well-being of the men and the families that are involved. So going back to why this is concerning, it is concerning because to me, it indicates a larger problem at hand in our society, in Trinidad and Tobago, but in the wider Caribbean and the diaspora in general. And that is the issue of infidelity in relationships and how infidelity is normalized in relationships, and what the culture of infidelity, of visiting unions, of dishonesty in relationships, what it does to our family systems.
I agree. I agree, my sister. But even in, like, for example, we take the Caribbean culture, and in my culture, Jamaican, family. You know, you got good and bad in every culture and every place, but when you look at it from an angle, it's how you were raised. You know, in Caribbean culture, we raised around family, raised around food, you know, togetherness, and so forth. Even when the roads are tough, even when the storms come, you know, you don't run, you stand, you fight. Okay? Loyalty, respect. And nowadays you don't have that. Or if you do have it, it's low in numbers now. You see? So when we talk about marriage and we talk about households, you look at it, a large number, especially boys, are raised in single-parent household, mainly raised by women. And you wonder why the men turn out the way that they turn out. Even if you flip the goalposts. Large number of women, little girls, raised in single-parent household, with mommy, no daddy. And you wonder why the girls grow up to be women and behave the way they behave. Your actions have consequences.
What it does to the mental health of those in the family systems, not just the women and the men, but also the children. Like, what is the impact that that is having on the way that we create our societies, on the way that we build our families and our communities and then our larger societies? What's more concerning to me with this is the sensationalism that is happening around this statistic, because it sounds like a big, scary statistic. 1 in 3, 33% of men are not the biological father when they were paternity tested, right? But in reality, the sample was 440 persons over a 5-year period. That's not a very large sample. I don't know what the statistical significance of the data is. And there is definitely more research that needs to be done to help us understand, one, what are the dynamics that are happening behind this? 2, what is the impact that is having on the mental health and the well-being of not just the men, but also the children in these situations? And then what is the context around this? Like, it needs to be positioned in the larger context of other data. And I think there's an onus on those of us who are doing this work, who are in these spaces, to report this in a responsible way that is actually going to be helpful. And
more importantly, the woman has to realize and acknowledge by her actions, she destroyed her household.
Most men leaving when they find out these children aren't theirs either. Because I'm like, yeah. If women truly cared about men's mental health, I'm like, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Is this you with our son?
Yes, I'm not going to neglect a good father, just because his father wouldn't step up to the plate, correct?
So you did raise him since he was a baby, correct?
Correct, but he's not my biological son, and you know this.
Do you believe that it's appropriate for you to be ordered to pay child support for this child?
No, I'm not the biological father, no.
The husband's name is Francisco, and the wife's name is Norma. Norma is suing Francisco for child support for a child that is not biologically his. Francisco has come prepared with a lawyer, and there she goes right down here, by the name of Lanice. I always implore my young G's to invest into a lawyer, but I can understand that they are expensive. Nevertheless,
if you're unable to afford a lawyer, this is where you can represent yourself, but much research is definitely needed. A large number of individuals don't do their research. A large number of individuals don't go in with an attorney. And you set yourself up. But in this situation, hell no, he should not pay child support, and he should get a divorce.
In most cases, it's a worthy investment, especially when the topic is child support.
What would you request the court to do regarding this child if this judgment is set aside?
I'd just get removed from the child support. We would want to file for divorce and do everything the correct way and get what's needed for the children done and do whatever we need to do to make everything right and get the proper documentation and everything done.
And did you or did you not tell me that it was going to be your way, that he had no dad, you were the dad, we were married, and this was your son?
Objection is irrelevant. Oh, it's not relevant.
Oh, that shit don't matter. You see, you have some that would try to justify. No, you knew. That's the thing. You knew you were married. That's adultery. You knew you were pregnant by someone else, and you didn't tell your husband. You knew what you did was wrong, but you failed to tell your husband. Now a child is here. But that child is not his. He thinks it's his. You knew the child was not his. And that's the thing that's spiteful and evil and that hurts the most.
The fact that this is even a debate, a dispute, the fact that she can bring this in front of a judge, the fact that they're even having a conversation about this being thrown out demonstrates yet another reason, another example of why the family court systems are against men. This man, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to take responsibility for a child that was not biologically his in a marriage that you had with him. And instead of respecting that time period because you're about to go through a divorce, you try to weaponize the simp against him. Once the relationship ends, the responsibility should not be dragged forward for the next 18 years of this man's life. It is ridiculous to think that her bullshit is even being entertained and demonstrates just how broken this system is.